he came back. Nice one.
I'm curious as to how that's going to sound on the microphone, which is currently sitting on the table I'm hitting.
Well, otherwise it'll look really weird.
Oh. What's going on, guys? We're the Cinefanatics. My name's Chris Adams.
And I'm Robert Adams.
And we are here for, obviously, a review of
Dora the Explorer.
Did you see our trailer reaction to that?
That was fantastic.
Quickest video ever.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's Terminator Dark Fate.
Yeah. So first and foremost, we're going to do a little bit of a spoiler-free section here, give you our rating, and then we're going to dive into some spoilers, just because there needs to be some spoiler talk about this movie. So feel free to watch it for right now. We'll let you know when the spoilers are coming, give you a heads up. You can click off if you haven't seen the movie yet and you don't want to hear it.
And then you can come back later and hear what we have to say about the actual plot details and stuff.
See if you agree with us on that.
Yep.
So going right off the bat with this, I will say, I think we finally got a pretty decent Terminator sequel. Out of the ones that we've gotten out so far, this is probably pretty high on the quality level of them.
It's a lot better than what they've come up with in the last decade or so. I mean, maybe more than that, because if you count T3.
Yeah.
It's better than T3. It's
Definitely
better. It's better than whatever that one
Genesis.
was. Yeah, whatever that one was a few years ago. That was terrible. It's for me, and I think we were talking about this. I think you might agree. It's at least somewhat almost on par with Salvation, but we say that trepidatiously because I know a lot of people don't like Salvation. I moderately enjoyed it.
I like Salvation in so much that it's the only movie that actually takes place after the fallout. It takes place in the future during the actual war.
Yeah.
There's no time travel going back in time trying to save Sarah Connor or John Connor again. It takes place in the future, which was a great way to take that storyline. There is parts of it that get a little and a little convoluted and stuff, but
Yeah.
especially like the end and anything having to do
With Helena Bonham Carter.
yeah, pretty much with her and Sam Worthington's character being the part man, part robot. That was just a little out there, but the rest of the movie was pretty good.
Yeah.
So this one I would say is a worthy sequel to Terminator 1 and Terminator 2.
It did feel like it was kind of carrying on some of the same tone that you got from Terminator 1 and 2. It kind of felt like a return to form in that sense.
I will say that Terminator 2 is quite possibly one of my favorite action movies of all time. It hits every perfect action beat for me. I absolutely love it. I love rewatching it. One of my favorite movies ever.
So, if you're looking for a Terminator that's going to beat Terminator 2 in our eyes, at least from his standpoint, that's going to be very difficult to do.
Yeah, and so your mileage may vary on this, but some people really love Terminator 2, and that's the point I'm going to be coming from when I'm judging this movie, essentially.
Ha.
Yeah.
It's Judgment Day on our reviews.
So, real quick, this movie was produced by James Cameron, who this is his long-awaited return to this franchise in some form or fashion.
Yeah.
It was directed by Tim Miller, who directed the first Deadpool movie.
Which, when I first heard that Tim Miller was going to take over this franchise and do a movie, I was like, yeah, okay. I can see it.
Might be pretty good.
I'll go with it.
Deadpool was a good movie.
Especially with James Cameron backing him at that point. It's like, all right, let's see what these two come up with now.
And then on top of that, they also managed to pull back Linda Hamilton.
Yeah.
Which, in my opinion, she was quite possibly one of the best parts of this entire movie.
Yeah,
I
for sure.
absolutely loved her character.
Yeah, absolutely.
It was nice seeing Sarah Connor back. Just continuing to cement her role as one of the best female action stars, like right up there, in my opinion, with Sigourney Weaver as Ripley from the Alien movies.
Yeah, and honestly, I think in regards to her character and what she goes through in this movie, again, we'll probably talk a little bit more in the spoiler section, but she has a really good arc in this, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she just goes through realizations and such. Again, spoilers for that stuff, but she was a good standout. Mackenzie Davis was a good standout also.
Mm-hmm.
She's coming in. She is the
Protector Terminator.
The Protector so to speak, for this new character, Danny. Who there's something important about her or something now.
We don't know.
Kind of like in the same vein that you've had in the movies before. Somebody needs to be protected for some reason.
Yeah.
And then you have return with Arnold Schwarzenegger as a Terminator, as always. I mean,
Yes.
that's what he's always played. And then you have Gabriel Luna is playing the bad Terminator who's going after them.
Which he does a fantastic job.
Yeah.
Now, granted, the only thing that I really recall seeing him is Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., where he played Ghost Rider. So he's always going to be like some kind of a flaming skull type of head thing. It's just, he can't get away from that. He's also apparently an Austin native, if I remember correctly. So, yeah, nice to see another fellow Austinite doing good.
The great thing about his character, though, and I like the direction that they're taking with some of these Terminators, is they're injecting a little humanity in them. Mm-hmm. Like you see in the trailer when he's going through that security saying, "Whole body's a weapon," and they're making jokes, and he's just the conversations that he has with other humans along his journey to trying to take out these people is he's got great interactions with people. He's adding like a layer of humanity to this Terminator character, which I think actually made that character a little more threatening.
Yeah.
A little more two-dimensional rather than just being a robot. Which, you know, take or leave, some people would actually want just the robot because honestly that's what made Schwarzenegger threatening in the first Terminator movie is he's just a stone-cold robot.
But they also did that with T-1000 where they gave him a little bit of humanity and stuff. Like when he was talking to the cop, he's like,
"Say, that's a nice bike."
Like, he would actually interact with other people. And this one, this Terminator was a lot more interactive, so much more friendlier, more human in that case. But, yeah, it was a nice progression to see that.
Outside of that, I mean, you have Schwarzenegger returning back to this role again. And he added a layer of humor in this movie that didn't take me out of the movie. It actually is really nice because... It was really nice because you got a situation where, you know, you're going through super serious hard times. They're running from, you know, trying to be killed, essentially. Mm-hmm. And it was a good level of humor that didn't detract me like, ugh. They weren't trying to be like Marvel humor. They weren't trying to be like too distracting with it. It was really great, and there were some really good moments in that.
Yeah. So I think overall, just real quick for non-spoilers, the story was good. The story was decent. We'll dive more into that here in a little bit. Acting was fantastic. I love, again, the return of Linda Hamilton and Arnold Schwarzenegger and their characters.
Well,
and also the little bit of comedy that they interjected was nice in this movie. I think overall it was pretty good. I'm liking what they did with this.
At the same time, though, there are issues I have with it, and those issues I can bring up a little bit more in the spoilers, but just know, like, as far as, like, story-wise goes, like, it had a pretty basic story to it.
Yeah.
Honestly. There wasn't a whole lot, and in regards to where the Terminator franchise needs to go, I don't quite agree with some of the directions that it was going story-wise. I think there's some issues still they need to course correct on.
But the thing is after Terminator Genesis, a simple story is nice and refreshing.
Absolutely. So, I mean, yeah, from that regard, if you're coming from the stance of, I don't want a convoluted story, you don't have a convoluted story here. But if you want something that actually progresses the story in a meaningful way in this franchise... We'll see if maybe there's another one coming on after this.
Yeah. Anyways, let's talk more about that in the spoilers. Let's go ahead and drop our rating for this, though. What would you rate this movie?
See, here's the thing. I like the action. There were some really good action pieces in there. Really enjoyed it. But for a franchise that has a ongoing storyline that I want to see progress, I got to have more than just good action pieces. They're vital, but I got to have more than that. So I'm giving this one probably about a 6 out of 10.
Yeah.
And we are going 10 now.
Yeah, so that's a new thing. We haven't done this. This is going to be our first video doing this. We are dropping the little cutesy pictures. We're just going to go some straight numbers, straight to the point with y'all. So I am also going to rate this probably, I go about a 7 out of 10. I did enjoy this movie a lot. But yes, there's some stuff that's lacking, and we'll dive into that in the spoiler section. Speaking of which, we're about to get into that. So if this is where you want to stop before we get into spoilers, make sure you come back and watch us after you've seen the movie yourself, see if you agree with us. If not, if this is the last time you'll see us, then please subscribe to us. Hit that subscribe button down below. Hit the like button if you like our review so far of this movie. Leave a comment. Let us know what you thought of this review. Yeah, so let's dive into the spoilers.
We'll be back.
Yeah. Come with me if you want to be spoiled.
So we're doing spoilers now. So if you have
Not seen the movie.
not seen the movie, then you're in the wrong part of the video.
Yeah. So right off the bat with the storyline of this, one of the things I do like that I think was going to be hard to catch up on was everything was pretty much resolved at the end of Terminator 2.
Yeah.
And like they stopped Judgment Day from happening. It looked like pretty much Cyberdyne destroyed all the evidence and stuff. They destroyed their own evidence of like destroying the T-1000 and the T-800. Everything should be done and over and gone.
Yep.
And it's not. They left in, and here's the thing. I thought like at some point I was thinking this might be kind of like, okay, you created some stupid like backdoor excuse as to why this movie's still going or the franchise is still going in this direction. But it also kind of made sense.
Yeah,
they went
it
off
did.
with the idea is just because they stopped Judgment Day doesn't mean that humans as a whole are not pushing towards having machines take over anyways.
Yeah, so it might not be Cyberdyne, but it's going to be another company that creates AI that ends up taking over, which makes sense based on what we know of humanity.
Yeah. I also kind of like the idea that essentially what was covered is not only did they send just the T-1000 and the T-800 or whoever back in these movies, but they also sent out multiple Terminators that just didn't manage to make it into the story of Terminator 2.
Yeah.
So the only one we really saw coming after Sarah Connor and John Connor was the T-1000. We didn't see the other Terminators that were sent back until the beginning of this movie where we see the one that comes in and actually kills John Connor.
Which we have to assume that at this point that is the only T-1000 left that got sent back. There's no more T-1000s being sent back. That was
a
it.
T-800.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's what
these
I mean.
numbers get confusing. The
That's what I
T-1000,
mean.
the T-800, the Model 101. What numbers? What? Yeah.
That's the only T-800 that got sent back now at this point. That was still around because
I think we could safely assume.
and they set that up for what Sarah Connor said. She took out every other single T-800 that came back, every other Terminator. So we're now at a situation where we have this T-800 completed his mission. What's he doing? He's hanging out in the woods and got a family.
And he grows old. Yeah.
Okay.
Or the skin on him grows old. I don't know. They don't really explain, and I don't think they need to.
No,
I think
they don't need to anymore, especially since he was kaput at the end of the movie. So, does that mean that if they are able to make another one, is there not another Arnold coming in? I don't know. Probably.
possibly.
I would say probably not at this point.
And I mean, and this might sound like just complaining about a possible plot hole, but I mean, one of my problems I had with it is if Skynet was able to send out multiple Terminators back during Terminator 2, now we've got what's supposedly Legion is sending out what's still called Terminators to the new current present day. We only saw one, the Gabriel Luna Rev 9 Terminator. I'd have to assume that there were possibly also other Terminators sent out by Legion that we just didn't see in this movie, which may leave the storyline still open for more Terminators to pop up.
Now, here's the issue with that, and this is the reason why I have a problem with the way the plot's going right now. And so, we go back, it's the reason why I enjoyed Terminator Salvation, is because I think Salvation progressed the storyline and actually showed you the future. This one is kind of, you're in a situation now where you're just going to get more of the same, repeating itself over and over again. You're going to have to stop Terminators from coming after Danny now. That's going to happen again and again and again. at some point you need to have a quote-unquote judgment day, not the judgment day, but a situation where the machines do finally rise up and take over. And that's going to be the only way that humans learn at this point, because if you can stop one and then you stop the next one, humans are still going to create more cyber AI people who are going to take over and destroy us all. Like, it's going to, it's a situation, it's a slinky going down the stairs. It's going to happen at some point over and over again until humans go through the situation that they go, now you're going to learn, stop it.
Yeah.
And they got to get slapped around a little bit.
And I think it could either go that way where there actually is the big fight, the big war, and the humans win.
Yeah.
Or it could go the route of essentially like the Matrix movies where the machines just up and decide, okay, well, we're just going to stop fighting. And like, that's the only way this can end until it actually has that ending, this storyline.
Which that would be anticlimactic if that happens. The machines were like,
Well, I mean, it was in Matrix also.
let's live in harmony with the humans now or something.
Yeah.
That doesn't make any sense for this.
But I mean, yeah, that is the only way for this movie, for this franchise to end. Otherwise, yeah, it's just another Terminator coming back in time to go after, in this case, Danny or whoever else might be the new savior of mankind, given the time jumps and stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, we're just repeating the same thing. I mean, even repeating, if you look at the Terminators that have been used, we've run out of ideas as to how powerful these Terminators could be after we hit T-1000. The first one was a metal exoskeleton. The second one was liquid metal.
This one's liquid metal and an exoskeleton.
Which was also Terminator 3. I mean, the difference that this one is able to separate his liquid state and his exoskeleton
able to
state.
Operate independently in two forms.
That's the only new thing that this one has done. But I mean,
what's cool? It was cool.
It was cool, but I mean, it's not that much better than like what the TX did in Rise of the Machines. Which,
so, what we're saying is that the franchise is literally at an impasse now, where it's going to either continue doing the same thing or it's going to find its conclusion.
But the problem is as long as these keep making money, they're gonna keep making them.
Yeah, until they don't make money, and then the storyline's just gonna fall off again.
And then it will get rebooted like in like 2 years.
Hey, it'd be cool if the Terminator franchise came back. What I was saying earlier, I wanted to touch on this, was Sarah Connor had an actual arc in this, and it's a situation where she was facing down the Terminator that essentially killed her son and then completed his mission. She started out initially wanting to take him out because she realized he was the last T-800. She knew that he was the one that killed her son right from the beginning. Even going so far as to say, once this is all over, once she's safe, I'm going to kill you. And he was like, fair enough. Sounds good.
I understand why.
Sounds like a thing that you have to do. Got it.
Which they showed that in the trailer, and I actually liked that in the trailer, in so much that it was just a pure and simple, hey, I kill Terminators now, you're a Terminator, I'm going to kill you. And you're like, cool, I
didn't
get that.
the reason why she said that.
You didn't get the reason, and it's even more powerful now that you see the movie and you know like that this is the Terminator that killed John.
Yeah.
Makes even more sense, and it's an even more kind of like a more touching moment of like possible catharsis for her to be able to say, hey, you killed my son, I'm going to kill you. Instead of just, I just take out Terminators.
Yeah, but what I really like is that he had that heroic moment at the end. He ended up turning around, helping be just one of the catalytic pieces to saving everybody. Mm-hmm. Looked at her and said, for John.
Yeah.
And then he died, and that just kind of gave her like a, oh man, yeah, he killed my son, but I can also trust him. I also trusted him. He took care of business, and it worked out in the end. So I think she had a really solid character arc in this too, and I'm actually really glad that they didn't kill her off in this movie. Mm-hmm. For the potential that they're going to make another one, she can survive and carry on.
The only other thing I noticed in this, and I don't want to touch upon it too much because I know everyone else is going to. All the other like movie fun things that we watch, Honest Trailer, Cinema Sins, Pitch Meeting, they're all going to cover this.
Yeah.
All of which are great. If you don't watch those, go watch those also. But
especially Pitch Meeting.
Yeah, we love Pitch Meeting. But if you notice the similarities between this and Terminator 2, when people go back and talk about how Force Awakens just is kind of like somewhat of a rehash of A New Hope, yeah. I saw a lot of that in this too.
Yep.
That the main Terminator can be in a liquid state. He's chasing after...
He's charming.
He's chasing after the people in a giant vehicle, in a big vehicle chase at the very beginning. The vehicle explodes. He gets out. And like, he's in a helicopter at one point.
Airplane.
Yeah, airplane, helicopter. I mean, all this stuff is kind of seemingly rehashing a lot of stuff from Terminator 2.
Yeah.
There's a lot more that I noticed. Again, I don't want to dive really any more deeper into this, but yeah, when you start doing that, that really starts to like take you out of the movie a bit. And you're like, oh, seeing this again.
So, I mean, if we were just to give it the wrap up, I mean, once again, we've seen a lot of this stuff before, and we know that unless they go in a completely different direction, we're going to see a lot of the same stuff again and again. They have to find a way to give this franchise a conclusion. I would say some franchises like Star Wars has the potential to go on and on because you can explore different galaxies, different characters. They're exploring a different character in this, different characters in these now, but it's still the same story over and over again.
It's the same arc.
And it's going to stay that way.
Humans cause themselves to be done in by machines, and then, yeah.
We have to have a situation now at this point where the machines either give up or humans get slapped around and learn their lesson.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's probably going to do it for this. I mean,
Yep.
that really covers pretty much all of our thoughts and feelings on that.
Overall, fun movie, good action movie, great action set pieces.
Worthy successor to the first two.
But where do they go from here?
don't know.
Remains to be seen in the future.
Yeah. Pretty much. So, again, what did you think of this movie? Let us know by commenting down below. Did you like it? Did you not like it? What did you think of our spoiler assessment of it? Let us know about that as well. Just please don't spoil too much in the comments for the non-spoiler people who haven't seen it yet.
Of course, they shouldn't be scrolling down to the comments. You should know that by now.
Yeah, well, this is YouTube, so whatever. Did you like this video? Make sure you hit the like button down below. It's the one that's shaped like this. So hit that button. Also, again, follow us on social media. We are on Twitter and Instagram at Cinefanatics MLP. And also, join us as we approach 1,000 subscribers. Hit that subscribe button, the one that's right up there. Hit that. Over here are a couple other videos we have made. Our latest video that we've put out, and one YouTube things you should see. And as always,
It's late. Come with me if you want to sleep.
I'm going to go to my own room. Thank you.
That's a good decision.
Later.
See ya.
You know, the beginning of this movie takes place in Mexico, and not once did they say "Hasta la vista, baby."